This is Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez as we end today's show with an update on the land defenders in Canada who are facing a government crackdown. 2 people arrested Monday after blockading an access road used by Coastal GasLink to build a 400-mile pipeline within Wet'suwet'en land that violates both Indigenous and Canadian laws. This comes after Canadian heavily militarized federal police arrested about 30 Wet'suwet'en members and supporters at camps and roadblocks in the same area last week, including a violent raid that ended a 56-day blockade of the drilling site. One of those arrested in the raid on the Coyote Camp was documentary filmmaker Michael Toledano, who shared this dramatic footage of the raid.
They're walking to the door. They're breaking it down.
Breaking down the door.
Get out here.
Breaking down the door.
Hey, show me your hands. Show me your hands.
Get that gun off me! Get your gun off me! Lower your gun!
I want to see everybody.
Get your gun off me! This is sovereign Wet'suwet'en land!
The RCMP have breached the door. They are acting under the authority of the injunction.
Attack dogs are there.
There are attack dogs here.
Standing there, right beside the
Militarized
door.
police. They used axes found in camp to break down the door.
And a chainsaw.
And a chainsaw that they found in camp.
Come here, Molly, you're under arrest.
Don't touch me!
Don't touch her.
Touch me.
Get your hands off of her!
You're under arrest.
Get your hands off of her!
I'm here. You're under arrest.
Wet'suwet'en territory!
I'm filming a documentary for CBC
No
television.
problem. You're under arrest. Get that out of my face and back up. You're under arrest.
For the record, I'm a member of the media. You've been notified that I'm here. I'm observing.
arrest right now, so step out. Okay.
I'm coming with you. I'm coming with you.
Camera down.
You're under arrest.
You don't want to break.
Let's let that guy go.
I'm a member of the media. I'm filming a documentary for CBC television. You are twisting my wrist. I'm a member of the media. I'm filming a documentary for CBC television. I have press credentials.
Dramatic footage of the violent raid on Coyote Camp. Among those arrested and who we heard in this video was Molly Wickham, also known as Sleydo, land defender, matriarch of the Condemn clan of Wet'suwet'en Nation, leader in this protracted battle to protect the land. She joins us now. Again, Molly, you were just released from jail last week. The cabin where we spoke to you from 2 Fridays ago was burned to the ground. Explain what happened in this raid. And we heard you saying, get your bleeping gun off me.
Yeah, so the CURG team of the police, the specialized group of RCMP to deal with specifically industry and Indigenous land defenders, surrounded our camp with tactical teams that they dropped in helis. They had K9 units, semi-automatic weapons, and they broke down the door without a warrant, an arrest warrant, or a search warrant. And came into the tiny house that we were at and used axes and chainsaws and held us at gunpoint and arrested 7 people inside and then 4 people at the cabin that later burned down. They bulldozed the entire camp and CGL was present at the raid.
And Molly, could you talk about this branch of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police? They call it the Community Industry Response Group. What is this, a protection outfit?
Yes, so it's basically this rogue group of police that work for private industry. They're directed by private industry. The government has claimed no oversight or direction towards this particular group of police that come in and do. This is the 3rd time that they violently raided Wet'suwet'en territory. They don't have the same accountability as other police do, and they take direction. And we're using CGL vehicles for the arrests, for the raid. They were staying at the man camps with CGL. They put up an exclusion zone that they were letting only CGL through and blocking all Wet'suwet'en, even our house chiefs, from the territory during the raids.
And Molly, if you could talk about, again, why you are there, this bigger struggle that is taking place.
The Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs have never ceded or surrendered our territory, and so they still have title to our land. We don't have treaties. We've never signed any documents to cede our land. And they said that there's no pipelines within our system to go through Wet'suwet'en territory. Wet'suwet'en is our sacred headwaters where our salmon spawn. It's the last clean drinking water source in our territory, and they are about, Coastal GasLink is about to drill underneath our headwaters.
And who owns Coastal GasLink? Could you talk about their corporate connections?
Yes, so they're owned by TC Energy. They're partly owned by AIMCO, which is an investment firm in Alberta that actually holds RCMP police retirement funds, and by KKR, which is a private equity firm in the United States as well.
And what are you demanding right now?
We're demanding that Coastal GasLink get off our territory and that the governments come to the table with the Wet'suwet'en and actually start implementing and respecting our title to the territories. This is a larger issue that could have easily been resolved if implementation of our title was recognized, if our governance system was recognized. Instead, the government's choosing to take direction from a private corporation to come in and destroy our lands and our waters. And they're using militarized RCMP against unarmed Indigenous women on our territories and removing us from the territory. One of the conditions of my release was that I am restricted from accessing my territory. Coastal GasLink wanted to ban me from my territory completely, which is a violation of our Section 35 rights under the Constitution, and of course a violation of Wet'suwet'en law. They successfully banned my husband from our territory other than to come to our home, directly to and from our home, which prevents us from hunting, fishing, doing anything on our territory, getting firewood. And they banned everybody else who was arrested from our territory, claiming terra nullius, essentially, that we don't have a community out here, that we don't have any infrastructure.
Molly Wickham, we have to leave it there, but we'll continue to follow this struggle. Thank you so much.